Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I wanted to share with you this super intense acrylic rebalance that I recently did. Um, this client hasn't had a fill in about 8 weeks, and so this service is no longer considered a fill, it's considered a rebalance simply because there's so much growth that I'm gonna have to do a lot here to reconstruct her nails and basically almost redo the whole set without taking off the entire set, if that makes sense. So when it comes to a rebalance and you have your nails super grown out like this, if you can see here, her index finger right here is pretty curved, um, and so I'm gonna have to literally rebalance out her nail because when your acrylic nails grow this long, they become off balance, so they need to be rebalanced, if that makes sense. And when you have a service like this, you should most definitely charge more for it. This definitely costs a little bit more than my average fill, and that's simply because I'm doing so much more work here, and it's taking extra time for me to do this service. So most my fills usually cost about or take about an hour and a half. I think this rebalance service took me about 2 hours. So that's a lot of time. Another reason why it's important to differentiate and charge accordingly for a service like this is because um, again, it takes longer, you're doing more work by removing more product, things like that, but also you don't know what's on this client's nails, right? So, uh, this client is coming to me from another nail salon, another nail tech's work is on her nails right now, which is totally fine. That doesn't bother me at all. The nail tech did a great job actually because her nails stayed on. She only broke 2 nails in like 2 months, so that's amazing. But um, again, if I'm not, what if this nail tech previously had used like MMA or something like that, or you know just didn't do the nails correctly? Like again, with a service like this, the amount of grow out that's there, the amount of time it's been since she got her last fill, is so much work to do. So you really, really have to keep that in mind when you do a service like this, and the clients need to keep this in mind as well because this is not just an average fill. A lot of clients probably think it is, but um, it's not. Just plain and simple. And sometimes you're going to have to explain that to them and say, this is going to cost more because I do have to do more, and that's totally okay. They'll understand. They get it. Just look at all this growth. That is so much nail bed or nail plate showing. So much nail plate showing. It's a lot. It's been a long time. So we're gonna go in with the acrylic soon and start to, one, fix these 2 nails, but two, fill in all this growth. And as I'm doing this service, I'm doing my best to. I kind of have to put on a lot of acrylic, right? Um, Not only am I filling in the area of growth, but I also have to redo the placement of the apex because her nail has grown out so much. And again, the term rebalance means it's kind of self-explanatory, but you're rebalancing the nail. So since her nails grew out so much, the apex has moved, and when I'm placing the new acrylic on her nails, I have to place the apex in a different spot now than where it is now because the apex grew out so much. And with this being said, I'm going to basically add kind of a lot of acrylic so that I can have like a nice thick nail, and then I'm basically going to go in after the acrylic application and file everything to my liking, and then file everything so that the nails are, you know, looking nice and balanced again. But for this part, you know, we're gonna have to fill everything in. If it were up to me, I would have preferred to remove these nails and start fresh. But because I had another client coming in after her, I didn't have the time to do a removal and then an overlay over her nails now. So in times like this, you kind of gotta just do your best and work with the time that you have. So now that we've got our acrylic on our nails, everything's on there, it's all dried up and cured properly, we're going to go in with a 180 grit file. I'm using the 100 grit part of the file to really get the nails into the shape that I need. I'm also filing underneath some of the nails as well to, again, as part of me correcting the structure of the nail. So as I'm doing this, knowing that I'm using the 100 side, which is the more coarse side of the nail file, I have to make sure that I'm holding the skin back on her fingertip to make sure that I don't accidentally cut her with the nail file, because the 100 grit side is pretty sharp. But for this service, I had to use 2 nail files. Like the one that I was using here ended up getting so worn out within the length of this service from all the filing that I was doing that I had to get another one. So that just goes to show you how much recorrecting went into this service and went into these nails, that I had to use 2 nail files. In addition to the 2 nail files, I had to use a medium grit carbide bit, which I normally don't use for my fills. I just usually go in after I file and get my shape. I usually just go in with my fine carbide bit. But because there was so much reshaping, rebalancing, reconstructing of the acrylic, I had to get a coarser bit to kind of really remove the bulk of the acrylic nails, of the acrylic on the nails that I put on there, and then go in with my fine bit, which is what I normally do. So I'm going in here with, with each nail and just really removing all the extra bulk, making sure everything, all her nails are structured properly, and then I'm going to go in with the fine, with my fine carbide bit, which is what I normally use for my fills. And going in with this fine carbide bit, I'm able to get nice and close to the cuticle area and make sure the acrylic near the cuticle area is nice and flush, and when her nails grow out, it'll be a nice smooth, grow out, and there won't be like this huge lump. It'll barely be, noticeable because the grow will be so smooth. But yeah, this is the second part of the filing stage with the bits. And I'm just going to check her nails over, make sure they are all the same length, same shape. Because I did have to repair 2 of her nails, those 2 nails that I repaired are not going to look the same as the nails she already had on, simply because the nails she has on are her natural nails, and the nails that I repaired are the extended nails. So they're not going to look exactly the same, but I mean, that's okay. That's what happens when you repair a nail. But after that, we'll go in with our medium sanding band and just go ahead and what is this called? Basically etch the acrylic to make sure that the acrylic nails are what is it called? Textured, so that the gel polish that we put on will adhere well. Because by this time the nails are pretty much exactly the shape and length and shaped the way that we need it to be. But we go in with this bit here to basically prep it for the polish. And I'm just gonna go in and make sure her nails are just perfectly shaped. I don't know when I'll see this client again, so I was just being extra meticulous and just making sure that her nails were as perfect as possible and will last as long as possible, and look as nice as possible. So I'm just gonna go in here and just quickly file some of the edges and make sure everything is nice and crisp. And then I'll just go in and remove any extra dead skin and tissue that lifted up as I was filing with the e-file before. This is the final result. Yeah, I think they came out really nice. Yes, they came out very, very nice. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one.